Also known as the Treasure State, or Big Sky Country, Montana is found in the western United States, and it features many untouched mountains and various landscapes that might make you think about packing your bags and moving there. While taking up a big amount of space, but only hosting about 1 million people, it seems like there are plenty of things that can still be explored. From abandoned mining towns, to an angel statue on top of a mountain, here are strange and abandoned places in Montana. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm your host, American Eye, bringing to you another epic video. Number 15. Cut Bank Penguin. Montana might get really cold during wintertime, but could it actually be cold enough to host penguins? Possibly. Here we see a 27-foot tall statue of a penguin who's been deemed as the ambassador to the coldest spot in the nation. He's been there for about 30 years now. It's also the heaviest penguin statue in the world, and it weighs about 10,000 pounds. You can find him on Railroad Street, leading to the town of Cut Bank, Montana. You might not find a ton of things to do in Cut Bank, but it's close to Glacier National Park. Number 14. Garden of 1,000 Buddhas. You might be a little bit surprised to find 1,000 Buddha statues in the middle of the plains of Montana, but you gotta expect the unexpected in this state. Currently under construction, this site is meant to be home to a pilgrimage for all Buddhists in the Western Hemisphere. The isolation of Montana could be a great place to find some enlightenment, and a Tibetan Buddhist master said that this spot was the perfect place to build his dream gardens. The garden will feature a variety of different plants, including lavender and 1,000 planted trees. It's found in Lake County in the northwestern part of the state. Number 13. Old Montana Prison. If the apocalypse ever broke out, the Old Montana Prison might be a good place to hide out at. Located in the outskirts of the town of Deer Lodge, it's found in the southwestern part of the state and was created in 1871 to serve as the main territorial prison for the area until Montana would become a state in 1889. The prison would remain functional until 1979 and would provide labor projects such as logging and ranching. The walls were constructed out of sandstone and were built by convicts. Severe overcrowding was a primary complaint here, and eventually chaotic riots would take place. One of the more notable ones happened in 1957 when the inmates refused to pick peas and the National Guard was called in. It's home to a lot of history and is now a historical place that people can go visit. Number 12. Bannock, Montana. Montana is known for being home to some of the best ghost towns, and one of the best ones in this state can be found at Bannock, in the southwestern part of the state. It was founded in 1862 after large gold deposits were found nearby. It operated as the capital of Montana Territory for a brief period of time, and even had a population of 10,000 people. It was home to many buildings that would seem fitting for a Wild West town, including a saloon, a brewery, a blacksmith, shops, general stores, hotels, and so on. This photo here shows a Masonic lodge, which was also used as a schoolhouse. Bannock was also known for being home to many outlaws, including the Plumbers Gang, who were eventually caught and harshly punished. Number 11. Nevada City. You might expect this next ghost town to be located in the state of Nevada, but think again. This place was actually known for one of the richest gold strikes in the Rocky Mountains and was first settled in the 1880s. It's estimated that $2.5 billion worth of gold was extracted from the nearby mines. The people are currently gone, but the ghosts have moved right in. Possibly one of the most underrated ghost towns is Nevada City, located in the southwestern part of the state. Here you can find all kinds of different wooden buildings, many of which have been restored. They all still look pretty authentic though. It's located near a place called Virginia City, which also has the same name as a ghost town in Nevada, but all these places are in Montana. Number 10. Little Bighorn. The Battle of Little Bighorn was one of the most humiliating defeats in US history. It was supposed to be people with guns versus people with bow and arrows, but not everything went according to plan. Also known as Custer's Last Stand, this took place in 1876, and he lost a large portion of men while trying to go against 10,000 Lakota warriors. Archaeological experts claim that the only way to take wounded men to safety would have been to unload a ship that had $375,000 worth of gold on board. But in order to move all those people, they had to bury the treasure somewhere. If he had decided to take both the men and the gold, the ship would have sank. They decided that they would come back for later to dig up the gold treasure, but no one's sure if they actually did. Some claim that after the Battle of Little Bighorn, they feared going back to the Bighorn River because they would eventually get attacked by the Lakota again. Number 9. Our Lady of the Rockies. The fourth tallest statue in the US is located in the state of Montana near the city of Butte and was constructed with 400 tons of concrete. The total height of the monument to Mary is about 93.6 feet or 28.5 meters. It was originally thought up by the resident of Butte, Bob O'Bill, after his wife managed to make a recovery from cancer. Although some people in the town feel like the statue is a little bit intrusive on their religious beliefs, it's technically built on private land. They objected any federal funds, which technically made it separate from church and state. A lot of donations, though, came in from the Anaconda Copper Mining Company, and the National Guard even helped lift the statue onto the cliff with a helicopter. Number 8. Dooley, Montana. Another creepy ghost town makes our list, this time all the way in the northeastern part of the state near the border with Canada. The town was built in 1913 to accommodate some railroads that were heading across the border. Unfortunately, it seemed as though Dooley would have too much trouble trying to tame the wilderness that surrounded it. In May of 1916, the west side of Main Street caught on fire, destroying many of the local businesses. It would almost seem as though the town was cursed, and it would also suffer from infestations of armyworms, grasshoppers, and Mormon crickets. People would eventually give up on the town, and Google Maps won't even drive through there. All that's really left is this old burnt-up Lutheran church, which seems like it's about to collapse at any moment. Oh wait, it turns out that it did collapse just recently in July of 2019 after a storm. Yep, nothing left to see here in Dooley anymore. Number 7. Stoney's Quick Shop Cow. Holy cow, this might be one of the best gas stations in the entire state. It used to belong to Stoney's Quick Shop until the gas station was bought up by Sinclair. But in any case, the big steer got to stay, and he's been a focal point in the town of Clearwater. Located on the side of Mount Highway 83, make sure to stop here to fill up. Some sources claim that the cow has gone missing and was used during a parade. Number 6. U.S. Route 2. U.S. Route 2 heads east and west across northern states of America, and the most dangerous stretch of road comes in the state of Montana, where it might be best to take a detour. Montana ranked number 1 for having the worst drivers in the United States, and that's probably because it's almost always freezing here. There are many notable narrow sections that drivers must pay attention to, especially at night. You have to really look out for bison who can still call this area home. Driving through all the untamed wilderness can certainly be more challenging than you would think. Number 5. Copper King Mansion. This 34-room mansion is located in Butte, Montana, and was built from 1884 to 1888, serving as a residence of Andres Clark. This man made a lot of money from mining copper. The elegant home featured things like fresco-painted ceilings, hand-carved fireplaces, and stairways. It's rumored to still be haunted by the original owner, but nonetheless, it's operated as a bed and breakfast during summer months and is relatively abandoned during winter. Much of it had to be restored in order to get it to look the way that it once did. But a lot of time went by where it was simply derelict for the most part, which helps add to its haunted reputation. Number 4. Lewis and Clark Caverns State Park. Montana is home to a lot of national and state parks with countless miles of hiking trails. One of the more interesting state parks to check out would be the Lewis and Clark Caverns in the southwestern part of the state. It was officially established in 1908 and were likely first explored by Lewis and Clark. Some believe that the Native Americans checked it out first, but there wasn't a whole lot of evidence to support that. The cave is also home to western big-eared bats who have opposable thumbs. Their dung was actually used for explosives during WW2, and they didn't even have to eat any Taco Bell. That guano was extensively gathered from these caves, which certainly makes your job sound a little bit better. Number 3. Minutemen launch facilities. It's possible that one reason a lot of people are concerned with the apocalypse in Montana is because of all the launch facilities in the state. You might be familiar with the doomsday cult known as the Church Universal and Triumphant, who predicted a nuclear apocalypse would strike. This religious sect was constructing a large amount of fallout shelters after their leader had predicted an incoming nuclear strike from the Russians. You can kind of understand how it makes sense though, with a large amount of Minutemen missile silos being scattered near Maelstrom Air Force Base in Montana. The launch facilities can house ballistic missiles that can be launched just by turning 2 keys. Number 2. Tornado Alley. Tornadoes are known to affect an area in the US known as Tornado Alley, which basically is from the middle of Texas stretching north all the way up into Montana. When the supercells begin to transform into tornadoes, they're certainly capable of destroying anything in their path. It can even make a cow fly at high speeds. The cool air from Canada mixes with the warm air from the Caribbean, and they tend to meet at this location. You probably won't hear too much about tornadoes happening in other parts of the world, and the unique condition of the middle United States seems to be just right in order to cause all kinds of destruction. Texas seems to report the most devastating tornadoes though. One reason why you might find some trailer parks in this area is because if you spend a lot of money on a home to be built here, it might get destroyed by a tornado. And number 1, the Berkeley Pit. This giant hole in the ground in Butte, Montana used to be a thriving copper mine, but is now filled with extremely toxic chemicals. It's about a half-mile in diameter and approximately 1,780 feet deep. About 900 feet is filled with acidic water that has a similar pH level as lemon juice. Industrial chemicals such as copper, arsenic, cadmium, zinc, and sulfuric acid are all found in this pit in the toxic lake. The water level of this lake is slowly beginning to rise as well, and there almost seems to be no solution to fix it. Some residents in the nearby town are beginning to worry that one day the lake will overflow and spew into the streets. This unique toxic waste pit has actually become somewhat of a tourist attraction, and people pay a small fee to take a look at it from a viewing platform. It's currently surrounded in barbed wire for the safety of the public.
Whoa, now that was a cool video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.